if this is one of those things where if you're not looking at that moving into the future, your program will end up being dead on arrival, because this is like the crux of everything that the research was pointing to moving towards the future of. If it's not personalized, or like Jay says, double clicked down one more, it's not going to be relevant, and somebody else will be doing it, and they will go there instead because it's easier to do business with them. It matters to their customers. So how do you really tackle personalization? How can you start to infuse this into everything? And I threw together kind of a framework here of starting that macro level and working your way down into micro. And you don't have to do it all at once or even start at the top. This is just kind of a way of thinking about the different elements of how you can start to weave personalization into your programs. So at the very highest level, look at the program itself. This is kind of tying back to what Jay had just said of, not everybody can be in the same program. So what are you doing to make the way that you tier something more relevant for them? Is it based on industry or specialization? Do you have competency tracks they can enroll with instead of just joining different program types? Can they join one and then go from there? Maybe it makes more sense for you to restructure away from those volume tiers of gold, silver, and bronze, and instead focus on how your partners go to market, or maybe what clients they serve. And then take a look from there, once they're in the program and they're aligned to that specialty that they're focusing on, then tier on revenue. That's something that's more important to you than it is to them. And so you can certainly, it still makes sense that you have to have that in there because of your investments you're making, but it doesn't need the primary tiering focus. And the next level down is promotion. So what does personalization look like in promotions? Incentives, rule structures, make it relevant to them based on how they like to sell or what they sell or who they sell to. This again goes back to the slide where I was showing you to the different ROIs. If a person comes in and they sell to a mid-sized client, don't ship them off the stuff that's for enterprise people. Be very tailored in what you're giving them. And if you're collecting that type of profile information, you could do it. The next step down is enablement. This is where segmentation, I think, can really sing, because right now we just don't have the resources at our disposal. No one has an army of channel marketers at their disposal to go make something for everybody. So segmentation is going to have to do a solid for you here at enablement. And this is where it just makes it more beneficial. So if they log into that partner experience portal, what are they going to see? Serve up the things that make sense for them. If they're a marketer, make sure they're seeing the things that would help them do that. If they're the owner, maybe share them the social selling training you put on there for the reps and give them a little note that says, hey, tell your reps to take this. So make it personalized for them. Even little things will go a long way. And then you get down into that micro level. What does your portal look like? What does engagement look like? Can I have a couple of examples for you? So the portals themselves can reflect a lot of that personalization. So if you don't have something like this, it's something that kind of consolidates everything together. So if you have disparate infrastructure, a lot of different portals for a lot of different things, think of this more like an air traffic controller, where you're kind of bringing everything together for them and it navigates. So they log in, it queries their profile, what their data is, their status, their specialization, their status or eligibility in the program, and it pulls everything up and serves it to them. So they log in and they have their promotions. Maybe they have their enablement and training. Maybe it's their status in their program or where they're going next and what they need to achieve. What's that next milestone? So this essentially becomes the traffic controller for your program that is kind of that micro level of personalization that's going to help you get more activity, and they'll have a better experience as well. And then at the very, very micro level, what does personalization look like with engagement? What are those communication tactics? And this, again, it can be preset to feel personalized and entirely based on your segments, but it's still going to feel like you're listening to me. It's going to feel like you're talking to me like a person, and it's going to celebrate, it's going to nudge, it's going to remind, it's going to prompt them, and it's going to do it with relevance. So these are just a few ways that you can have a winning program that's not dead on arrival. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Jay to bring us home.